80 million years ago, during the Cretaceous period, dinosaurs ruled the Korean peninsula the same way they ruled the rest of the Earth. At that time, the part of the land now known as Jeonnam-yosu was the forest habitat of numerous dinosaur species. Among them is the Tarbosaurus, the ferocious hunters of the forest. In a monologue, a young Tarbosaurus named Speckles says that he was born on the night of the full moon. A curious and playful child, Speckles lives with his older brother, twin sisters, and mother. The family's nest sits atop a mountain where they can see the whole forest clearly. They live happily, spending time together hunting and chasing herbivorous species of dinosaurs. But since Speckles is only a year old, he is yet to learn about killing prey. During the hunts though, he notes down the killing tactics used by his older siblings. His elder brother is the one who chases the prey, while the other two siblings ambush it. Speckles is excited to use these tactics during his practice as well. But when his training day finally arrives, it marks the beginning of a long and painful journey into adulthood for him. On that day, Mom is ready to teach Speckles how to kill prey when suddenly the earth below them starts trembling. It is the result of a massive stampede of dinosaurs caused by a T-Rex, the mightiest predator of them all. Because he's missing an eye, everyone addresses him as One Eye. During the chaos, little Speckles and his siblings start running towards safety, but they are eventually separated. His elder brother dies after getting stepped on by some dinosaurs, while the twin sisters are thrown off the cliff. Right then, Mom also arrives, but she's a few seconds late. Only Speckles remains alive out of her 4 children. Sadly, she doesn't even get the time to grieve as One Eye arrives and attacks her. Mom fights for a while with all of her might, but is easily overpowered. This gives the vicious Tyrannosaurus the upper hand, so he throws her off the cliff. She thuds against the rocks a couple of times before finally falling down to her death. Meanwhile, Speckles tearfully watches his mother die from afar. Now he is alone and has nowhere to go. He doesn't even know how to hunt, but still, he vows to avenge his family one day. In the next scene, we see the little Tarbosaur scavenging and raiding nests. For fear of starvation, he steals an egg from a pterosaur, a flying reptile, and satisfies his hunger. But unfortunately, the reptile arrives and starts chasing after him. Speckles almost gets killed, but he manages to get away by diving into a river. Later, while sheltering himself in a shed, Speckles hears a herd of velociraptors chasing prey. Velociraptors are small-sized carnivores who are feared for their agility and viciousness. Speckles follows them discreetly, only to learn that the prey has been captured by none other than the T-Rex, One Eye. We learn that One Eye has usurped Speckles' home, and he nests there as king of the jungle. Desperate for food, Speckles sneaks inside and attempts to steal some meat, but gets caught by One Eye. Fortunately, he manages to run away without getting attacked. The movie then skips several years later. Speckles is now 5, but he is still too young to avenge his family's death. In the meantime, One Eye continues to kill and rule the jungle. One day, a deadly battle erupts between 2 horned dinosaurs. They are fighting to assert their authority on the females of the area. After a while, one of them loses, and he is kicked out of their group. This is the perfect opportunity for One Eye to target his prey. And what better prey than the Cuckosaurus? But when he follows the horned dinosaur, another giant predator interrupts him. This predator has razor-sharp claws that can slice through even bone. However, the T-Rex is not going to give up so easily. He uses his intelligence and manages to trick the predator into getting his claws stuck in a tree. One Eye then grabs him by the neck and kills him. All this is being observed by a frightened Speckles from nearby. After a while, as One Eye is munching on his fresh kill, a female Tarbosaurus named Blue Eyes suddenly appears and decides to steal his food. But when she realizes how territorial and threatening One Eye is, she quickly runs away. Meanwhile, Speckles manages to steal a piece of food from One Eye. The female Tarbosaurus follows him, and out of pity, he offers her a piece of meat. Because of this kind gesture, Blue Eyes also opens up, and the two become fast friends. Now they hunt and survive together. The scene then cuts to 5 years later again. Speckles and Blue Eyes have relocated far away from One Eye. They hunt together as Speckles chases the prey, while Blue Eyes ambushes it. This is a trick he learned from his deceased siblings. In this way, the two become inseparable and start living happily. However, one day, One Eye discovers their hunting ground and again attempts to usurp their territory. At first, he attacks Blue Eyes and injures her. This enrages Speckles, and he attempts to take revenge, but to no avail. He is still no match for the powerful beast. As a result, he decides to find another way and eventually comes up with a plan. Without wasting any time, he lures One Eye to a swamp and traps him there. Because the soil is very loose, he slowly starts drowning. Seeing this, Speckles and Blue Eyes celebrate their victory, but little do they realize that One Eye is a persistent beast. He shows up right behind them, ready to finish them off. Fortunately, Speckles and Blue Eyes manage to escape in the nick of time. A few days later, we see that the pair has once again moved from their territory, hoping to flee from One Eye as far away as possible. They walk tirelessly for days, but there are no signs of life nearby. Blue Eyes even falls sick and decides that she cannot go any further. But just then, Speckles spots a large herd of friendly dinosaurs leading somewhere. He stretches himself to see a hot spring beneath the Rocky Mountains. This is the hope that the pair needed, so they quickly help themselves to the hot spring and relax in the water. 10 years later, the pair has made a home in a new forest far away from the old one. Speckles is now a 20-year-old, young and robust male. He can easily corner and kill his prey. He is also waiting to reproduce babies with Blue Eyes. What are you waiting for, cowboy? Unfortunately, their happiness is cut short when the vicious T-Rex again shows up one day. He is still determined to kill the couple for good. He cunningly throws a rock at them from above, and while Speckles attempts to save Blue Eyes, he is thrown into the sea. Following this, One Eye jumps down with his thundering roar and begins attacking Blue Eyes. She puts up a good fight, but it is not enough. One Eye then grabs her by the neck, ready to finish her off once and for all. Thankfully, by this time, Speckles shows up and defends his injured mate. Seeing Blue Eyes on the ground makes him remember his mother's murder scene. So, not wanting to see history repeat itself, he gathers all his might and attacks the T-Rex. Surprisingly, after a grueling duel, he manages to throw One Eye to the ground and make him leave. This elates Speckles as he has finally defeated his old nemesis. After the victory, he reclaims his old family nest and hunting grounds. The couple then decides to hatch their eggs there. The procedure is very intense, as for a month, Blue Eyes has to give 24/7 guard to the hatchlings. Unfortunately, because of the difficult environment, only 3 little babies make it. One of the babies looks just like Speckles, with spots all over his body. Hence, the parents decide to name him Speckles Jr. Well, no one ever said dinosaurs were creative. As time passes by, the Cretaceous period nears its end. There is a change in the environment as the days are getting warmer. Nearby water streams begin to vaporize, and the surroundings get drier day by day. Most of the herbivorous dinosaurs are having a hard time finding fresh food. One afternoon, the children suddenly cry for help, but Speckles and Blue Eyes are too busy to notice any threat in the surrounding area. Suddenly, a strong earthquake hits the ground, causing the nearby active volcano to erupt. Huge balls of fire are thrown from the volcano, which begin to destroy the forest. This terrorizes all the dinosaurs, and they're forced to flee from their territory. Everything around them seems to be falling apart. During the disaster, Speckles and his family travel through a shortcut tunnel, when suddenly the rocks and debris begin to fall from above. Sadly, one of the children is hit by a huge ball of rock, killing him immediately. That better not have been Speckles Jr., damn it. When Blue Eyes goes to save her other children, another piece of debris falls, hitting her in the leg. She is seriously wounded and cannot even walk properly. After this, Speckles and the family join with other migratory herds of dinosaurs, fleeing the natural disaster. 2 weeks into the journey, there is no sign of water or life, only a vast desert of nothingness. Without food or water, most of them become exhausted from the long walk, so one by one, they begin to collapse onto the ground. This is the perfect opportunity for the carcass-eating velociraptors, who often hunt in packs and prey on the weakest. Suddenly, a large herbivorous dinosaur falls to the ground from exhaustion. He is soon surrounded by a herd of velociraptors, who are ready to munch on their new prey. Sadly, Blue Eyes also cannot walk anymore because of her leg injuries. Speckles realizes his mate could suffer the same fate as the herbivorous dinosaur, so he encourages her to get up. However, Blue Eyes is too weak to stand, so she gives up. She then urges Speckles to take the children and save themselves. Meanwhile, the Velociraptors notice the weakened Blue Eyes and decide to prey on her next. Speckles stands his ground and kills a few of them, but with every passing second, he becomes more and more exhausted. To make matters worse, the Velociraptors also notice Speckles' two kids and go after them. In the meantime, Blue Eyes becomes so weak that she cannot even breathe anymore. She slowly closes her eyes and bids a sorrowful goodbye to her family. In the next scene, Speckles mourns for his wife, but he soon realizes that they do not have much time, so he carries his children and escapes the Velociraptors. After arriving at a safe location, he and the kids look back and watch the evil creatures feast on Blue Eyes. A devastated Speckles only says, "I'm sorry." I don't know what I expected from a dinosaur movie, but this is dark as balls. 2 weeks later, the herd finally has some respite. In the distance, they see a large, fertile area where there is endless food and shelter for everyone. However, the path to the green oasis is very dangerous. They have to cross a narrow edge that surrounds the mountains, and beneath them is a never-ending deep sea. Despite this, the herd, including Speckles and his two children, slowly moves forward, hoping to reach the oasis and start a new life. Meanwhile, we see One Eye cautiously watching the herd from above a mountain. As Speckles and his kids are moving through the narrow path, suddenly, there is a stampede of dinosaurs coming towards them. This triggers Speckles' childhood memories, where a similar stampede killed his siblings. And, to his surprise, he once again encounters One Eye, who has been driven out by the same natural disaster. It is then revealed that, just like he did before, One Eye has initiated the stampede in order to ambush Speckles and his family. Once again, the two giant beasts come face to face in what turns out to be an intense battle. When One Eye starts losing, he decides to go after Speckles' children. The latter tries his best to save the kids, but unfortunately, one of them is killed. Filled with vengeance, Speckles attacks One Eye and manages to thud him into the ground. However, the resilient T-Rex stands right back up and throws Speckles Jr. off of a cliff and into the ocean. "No, Speckles Jr., no. Oh, you're gonna pay." He then begins to corner Speckles just like he did to his mother. However, our hero Tarbosaurus gains the upper hand and manages to throw the T-Rex off the cliff. After this, he looks down and sees that his son is still alive, screaming for help. At the same time, he also sees One Eye alive and heading towards the kid. The sight scares Speckles, so he immediately dives into the sea to save his last surviving son. Meanwhile, we see the kid hanging by his life with the support of submerged wood. Just when One Eye is about to grab him, Speckles attacks the old beast from behind. The duo once again brawl for a while and are injured during the process. Due to the smell of blood in the water, we see a pair of water dinosaurs, also called Tarbosaurus, heading towards them. Speckles realizes this and worries about his son, who is alone and vulnerable in the water. After a long fight in the ocean, he eventually manages to overpower One Eye and throw him off to the Tarbosaurus. This finally kills the vicious T-Rex once and for all. After a while, Speckles reunites with his son and heads towards the distant oasis. The path is very long and tedious, but he doesn't want to give up. Unfortunately, a few hours later, his eyes get tired and eventually close, just when it appears as if the father-son duo has been killed. In the next scene, we learn that they have somehow made it to the shore. Speckles lays unconscious on the beach and opens his eyes when he hears his son desperately calling for him. In the closing monologue, Speckles wishes a peaceful, happy life for his son in this newfound lush jungle.